Hi, Limit Break Overdrive with another Path of Exile video. This one is gonna be about my thoughts on the Affliction League reveal that happened a few hours ago. First of all, while we see Chris in the background, I want to start with the Affliction League. It's basically Sentinel, right? We've replayed with Sentinels in an event recently, and everybody was like, "Hey, put Sentinel back in the game." Of course, we won't get recombinators, but the Wisps from the Affliction League basically do the same thing. Basically, you go in this underground abyss or whatnot with the cockroaches, and once you get out, what you gather, the resource you gather is called Wisps, and when you go out back in the map, it just spreads out and afflicts enemy, hence the name Affliction. And they get empowered, and they can either have more quantity, more rarity bonus, or they get more currency, and it can affect bosses. So that in itself is pretty good. And the best part is that you can encounter NPCs in the underground bit, the Wildwood, and they each can grant you a new ascendancy, and they all interact with new stuff in the game, and they seem pretty good. I'm especially intrigued or hyped for the Primalist one, where you can basically customize your own ascendancy. I'm pretty sure you can find some strong stuff. Like the main one for me would be melee fortify on hit, because I could ditch fortify support or the fortify that you get on the tree. So for me, it's saving a lot of skill points or a gem, so it would be good. But I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of stuff, and there's not that many things to take away for the league mechanic. You can buy enemies from vendors that you can use in boss fights, either as Spectre or to trigger on-kill effects, which is pretty cool, because I've never been a fan of on-kill effects, just because mapping, you basically one-shot the mobs anyway. So being able to use that against bosses, for example, generating frenzy chargers or any effect, that could be pretty fun. And I don't think you can stack wisps between each map, so you can't just accumulate a million of them and then once you get the vendor you can buy everything. I don't think you can do that, but I don't think this is going to be a problem. And you don't have to clear the map, leave only the boss alive and then do the Wildwood. So just to ensure that the boss is going to be empowered, it doesn't matter. You usually do that at the start of the map, similar to a Mirror of Delirium. And the mobs that will be empowered will be no matter if you kill some before others. It doesn't matter. It's set when you start the map. So yeah, looks pretty good. But now I'm not gonna talk a lot about Path of Exile 2. I want to focus more on the league that's coming up. But now we're gonna jump in the changes they made to the game, which are pretty bonkers. So first of all, Ultimatum is back in the game. Yeah, and even better, it's replacing Metamorph. I've never had anything against Metamorph, but I don't think it was bringing anything particularly fun to the game. You were just doing your normal map, and once you finished the map, you were usually just leaving and forgetting that you had a Metamorph to run anyway. And the only thing interesting you could get was basically Catalyst, which they moved to Ultimatum. And Ultimatum, from what I remember, was shitting currency like Stacks of Chaos or 5 links and whatnot, so the rewards are better overall. And now you are guaranteed to be able to do 10 waves if you're strong enough, of course, and the 10th wave has the possibility of spawning the Trial Master, which means the Ultimatum aspects won't get you access to the boss fight. Instead, I believe that you're gonna get a unique, a jewel or whatnot. So that is changing, but the biggest change, and when I saw that, I was freaking out. I was like, finally, I just saw the labyrinth, and I was like, finally, they're doing away with the lab. We're not gonna get traps and hardcore mechanic and softcore and whatnot. Well, they're doubling down on lab, apparently. So sad for me, I hate running lab. So back when I was in SSF, I just didn't care about enchant at all. I was making my builds with keeping in mind that I would never get any enchant on boots or helm or whatnot. But now I've come back to trade. And I really like the mana reservation enchants. Won't be getting that, so I'm gonna have to do some changes, but oh well. Instead, you will still get the Zaros chest at the end, but you will get, what do they call them? Transfigured gems, which basically replaces the alternate quality gems from heist blueprints. So I'm not sure I'm gonna run heists because there's so many replica uniques that I never get good one. So I don't think it's something I'm gonna run this league. We'll see. But the good thing is that heist blueprint now can give you any reward, regardless if it's repository or prohibited library or whatever the name. So there's that. It's good. But yeah, labyrinth will give you transfigured gems. So basically, instead of a divine fall, instead of giving enchant, will give you possibility to modify a gem to either, and that part I don't like, but I understand the design. Let's say you put Bone Shatter and because you want, or Cleave. Let's say Cleave because they said that there's a variant of the skill that interacts with Rage if you wield an axe and a sword, probably to make Rigwald somewhat usable again. Then you put Cleave in there, you click it to change, you get 3 possibilities. You can stick with your normal Cleave, you don't have to pick any of these, but it could be any other red skill gem, like it could be Bone Shatter, it could be Heavy Strike, it could be probably Ancestral Protector, like, so it's gonna be random still, but you have other rewards like transferring gem XP to your character or storing gem XP, I think, so a bunch of shit. So alright, I was really disappointed, but now that I think about it, it's probably gonna be better overall since I can just trade for these fucking gems and do the thing I like. So alright. And yeah, no more enchant, so boot enchant, so Ellie damage skill will lose damage because there was a pretty good boot enchant that had lightning damage if you've not killed or if you've crit recently, I'm not sure. And Ellie pen, and there's a bunch of things that we lose, but on the other hand, they modified the skill gems and they're more powerful. So we're gonna lose damage some places, we're gonna gain damage some places, it's gonna be more, it's gonna be less, we're gonna have to see, or just change our builds. But just for reference, Bone Shatter, the quality now gives you 1% more damage per trauma if you have 20 quality, which means it's multiplicative. So I've tinkered in POE instead of the divergent alternate quality, and even at 15 stacks I think it's more damage than the divergent quality gave. So I think for this skill we're gonna be winning. I don't believe the trauma support will get that buff, so trauma support is probably nerfed indirectly, but we'll see. Other notable skills for me, since I'm a melee Andy, Double Strike now has chance of double damage to bleeding enemies, and it already bleeds enemy for 20 or 25% chance, so that's pretty good if you want to go Impale, maybe as a champion or a Glad or whatnot. Heavy Strike has 20% chance to deal double damage. That's on top of the 40% he already has. I believe it's 40%, which is basically bringing Heavy Strike to where it was back when there was a Threshold Jewel. But not quite, because you could use more than one Threshold Jewel, but anyway. And Molten Strike has projectile damage, but even though this is a buff, you won't get the enchant for 2 additional projectiles. So again, is it a buff? Is it a nerf? We're gonna have to test. And apart from that, yeah, the changes from 2 heist I've discussed already. Some replicas in experimental bases have been changed. Apparently, experimental bases, some of them are going to be nuts. So again, we're going to have to wait and see. There's 5 new replica uniques and about 10 new uniques. But, and I want to finish on that because that's something I thought immediately. When you go and do your labyrinth, and let's say I want the alternate cleave for the rage stacking, you need to bring a cleave gem with you in your inventory. If you forget it, then too bad, you just wasted your offering. So unless you have one in your stash, but maybe not, I don't know. So that part I'm not really sure. Like, since the gem you get is random, why can't we just click a button and gain a gem? I don't know. Maybe there's a reason, we'll see, but overall pretty excited for the new league and the changes they made. Especially Double Strike, Cleave, I want to try to make builds with that. I'm already working on a secret build other than Bone Shatter to make a build guide. We'll see about that. Right now we don't have the gem numbers yet, so I might try to wait before releasing my guides. We'll see. But I'll keep you guys posted as usual. Again, a big thank you for watching, and let me know down in the comments what you think about the league, what you're the most hyped about, if you like or dislike changes. Let me know down in the comments. I usually reply to every single one of them. So again, thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.